Direct hit, direct hit. It's not it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Steebee Weebee Show. We have a very special guest tonight. Please welcome on the first time on the podcast, tattoo artist Dresden.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Thanks for coming, man.
Dude, I can't believe I'm in the corner. This is rad. Excited.
So you're finally here.
Finally here.
You gave me this beautiful scissor tattoo at the Comedy Store on the main stage.
Wild.
How do we link up? Do you remember how we even linked up?
I saw one night I was watching the Scissor Bros.
Yeah. Shout out to Jeremiah Watkins.
Yeah, on the
My
couch,
brother.
just
Yeah.
smoking, hanging out, and you
Yeah.
guys did like a call. You're like, "Is it any tattooers in the LA area?" And I was like, "I'm gonna email them," and I did.
You did,
And you guys hit me up, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
and it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah.
It was cool.
You're our first actual official tattooer on here.
Dope.
I don't think we've had one
I'm
ever. Like this is the first. I mean, this is over 250 episodes, and we have.
never had a tattooer.
Yeah, I think you're our first.
And I'm
our
surprised because I feel like you know tattooers, so it's like, yeah, I'm stoked.
And I initially wanted to do a podcast where you could actually, display tattooing someone.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about like, zzz,
Yeah, it's loud. My machines are loud.
I want to know your whole trajectory, like as far as how you got into it. And we mentioned before,
Shit.
it's like there's a hierarchy, like becoming a sushi chef. You can't just make sushi. You have to start with the rice. And
Totally.
yeah. So
Totally.
So where are you from?
Central California. So like Hanford is where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I live in Arroyo Grande, which is right next to San Luis Obispo.
San Luis Obispo, great area.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And I feel like I've lived all over, but I'm the most comfortable in the Central Valley.
Why is that?
I don't know, it's just where I come from. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's not LA, it's not the Bay.
Mm-hmm,
Just smack dab in the middle on the coast, like that's where I'm comfortable.
Are there like dangerous elements? Because we talked a little bit about the squatters that live next door.
Right.
Like how this is getting really shady now.
Right.
Yeah.
I think San Luis Obispo is more like Patagonia and like hiking.
Yeah.
Which is chill, but
Mhm.
I feel like there's other places around. I think since the pandemic that have gotten a little squirrelier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's not like
Not like
it's not crazy.
there's like no gang activity or anything.
Not really.
Not really.
No.
And that's close to what's that? What's the beach town? Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pismo Beach
Right.
and the dunes. All right there.
It's
Fish
all right
Strand.
there.
Yeah.
Have you been to Santa Barbara?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Have you heard of Elliot Rodger?
No.
That was the mass shooter. Remember the kid that shot all those? He couldn't get.
Oh, I didn't know his
Yeah,
name. Elliot.
Yeah, he liked the sorority girl. Like he liked girls, but they didn't give him no attention.
Right.
So he
Jesus
yeah, he lied.
Christ.
That was a big story in Santa Barbara.
Damn. How long ago was that?
Shit. 8 years ago, 7, 8
Yeah.
years ago, something like. I'm
Fuck.
guessing, yeah. So let's go back to, because you have you're filled with tattoos.
Yeah.
How did you get into this whole world and like growing up and all it? Yeah.
So I don't know. I like I've always been artistic. I've always definitely like gravitated towards that type of thing. I feel like 2005 is when I started getting interested in it, because there's like tattoo magazines, like back in the day, like on the stand.
Oh, like at a 7-Eleven or
Sure.
a newsstand?
And like I would see him around. A buddy of mine actually got one, a tattoo, and I was like, damn, dude, that's bad. You know? And then, admittingly enough, I didn't start with like a traditional apprenticeship. I did the whole like doing it out of my house thing to start.
Oh, like
I started, I just got everything. I got machines. And just started tattooing my friends.
you did it in-house?
Yeah.
So you didn't do, because you mentioned an apprenticeship. That's your traditional way of learning,
That's
right?
right. Which
So-
it's like, it took longer to get into it, because where I lived, there really wasn't anyone that I wanted to get tattooed by. Because everyone that was doing the work, I was like,
You weren't feeling their style?
no. I mean, and I was, and like looking in these magazines, I started seeing what tattoos could look like.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh shit. Like there's a whole nother elevated thing to this, you know?
Yes.
Not just these little bullshit like,
Yeah,
I was like, fuck, you could actually do like a huge tattoo.
like a piece, like an art piece,
Totally.
like a painting.
Beautiful things.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, whoa, dude, I want to do that.
Now, so your friends let you tattoo them?
Yeah. I still see, dude, it was wild.
There had to have been some crazy
Oh.
mess ups.
You better believe there's some that I'm just like, even when I see friends now that I've tattooed back then,
Yeah.
they're like, dude, you remember this? I'm like, don't even show
don't.
me that.
And
Like,
just
that is so...
because you let me and Jeremiah tattoo. And I still feel bad about what I did to your skin. Is it what? Where is it at
No,
again? But
yours wasn't
wait, can you
bad.
show?
Dude.
I mean,
Look at that.
do you see how like it's like I scribbled on your arm?
You were more confident than Jeremiah, though.
I did. Now, what part did I do?
The blown out side.
The blown out side.
But you definitely... This looks like confidence. This looks like Jeremiah going, I don't know this guy. and
Can
I'm
you
gonna take
just
it easy on
can you
him."
stand up and just show the camera?
yeah.
You might have to refocus, Andrew, like on this, but just show the camera real quick. Okay, you can come back, Dresden. I just want to give him context of
Totally.
just the disaster we did on your arm. Are you okay with it? I really felt bad, like
I don't think
because
you
I'm
feel
like
bad.
I did though. I did
was-
feel bad.
It was more the experience. I feel like, for me, I don't know. I'm tattooed all over my body. So it's like, I feel like
Look, oh my God, dude, who did that part?
that was Jeremiah.
Okay, thank you.
This looks like Jeremiah's like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
You were like,
But dude, did I do the letter? I did the S, didn't I?
you did the S. Oh, no. You did the B. Oh, no, you did the S.
I did the S and
You
the
did
B.
the S.
Damn, that I could have done a better
Dude,
job. I'm
it's
so
cool.
sorry.
I love it.
So going back to this is what you had to do to learn what we did there.
Totally. Like the first time, I remember my first tattoo that I ever did where it's like realizing, trying to pull that first line,
Yeah.
realizing how hard it actually is.
I am glad you
Like,
brought
dude,
that
this
up.
is crazy.
It's crazy hard.
It's crazy.
I thought I'd be able to give me that. I could do
Right.
it. But when I couldn't. My problem was when I was on your skin, I couldn't tell if I was making a straight line.
Totally.
How do you learn that?
Time with, like, especially for me, like in the beginning, it was willing skin.
What is
Where-
that? What does that mean?
Like willing skin, like
How do you spell that? Willing?
willing, W-I-L-L-I-N-G.
LLING.
Yeah.
Willing skin.
Skin, yeah.
What does that mean?
Homies that are like, yeah, man, like, do a little skull on me or whatever.
That's a term in the tattoo world. Willing skin.
Willing skin,
Give
yeah,
me
sure.
Give me a random one. Like
What?
that's what it means. Give me a random tattoo.
Or no, willing skin, like, I know you're new at this, but just do your thing.
Oh,
Which
that's
is
what it
wild.
means. New, like a new thing.
Right, because
Willing skin.
I feel like I would never like pass that. I'm like, oh, I've been doing this forever. I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. And then like
you were honest about it.
yeah, and your friends that you skate with or like do shit with where they're like, dude, do something cool. And I'm like, okay. But same thing. When you tattooed me, I'm like, oh shit.
I was so fucking nervous,
Right.
dude. I was literally like, oh fuck, I should have told you, like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, it makes
But you knew I didn't know. I never held a tattoo gun, bro.
right.
Yeah.
And especially when you like turn it on, it's wild. It's like,
Yeah.
You're like, oh fuck. Like, oh my god. You know?
Yeah. I
It's
can't
a lot.
imagine. A lot of trial and error.
It's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Where I feel like for my experience, I eventually started to get into shops as I built up my chops.
Wait, what do you mean in shop? What does
Like
that mean?
like into a shop.
Oh, into a shop.
Right.
And that's your traditional way of being in the business.
No.
It isn't?
I feel like there's two ways where it's
ahead.
like you can either do what I did,
In-house?
where you're just basically figuring it out and you build up your portfolio to where you can show a shop that you are capable and competent.
And that's what you did.
Yeah.
What's the second option?
The second option is you pick someone whose work you're like, damn, I really like that person's work.
And you
go spend money with them.
So you're a Padawan. They're a Jedi,
Right.
and you're a Padawan in
Right.
the lightsaber school.
Absolutely.
Oh, so
They
apprenticeship.
teach you how to wield a lightsaber.
It's apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship.
Because I knew a guy that worked in North Hollywood at a tattoo shop.
Okay.
But he couldn't tattoo. Like the first year, he had to get them food.
Normal.
He had to take out the trash.
Yeah.
He did everything but tattoo.
Totally. Well, I think from that perspective, though, you're learning more of the business, which is something that, like, in the beginning, I kind of wish I was shown.
Shown what? Like just
How a tattoo shop works. Because everyone does it differently, too. There's just like running a business, you know? And some people do it great.
Yeah.
And some people do it not so great.
Is it similar to working in a kitchen? Like you learn from the head chef?
Absolutely.
And then you can't cook, but you wash dishes.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
It's not just tattooing. It's like,
it's the
that's
code.
a pretty, exactly.
So it's
They're like, cool, if we're going to give you a way to make money in life, and we're going to show you all this like shit that took
years
to like figure out.
You have
know?
to pay your dues.
Totally.
Would you say that's the right?
Absolutely.
You have to pay your dues.
Absolutely.
So when does one get to do their first tattoo? Going through the number 2 apprenticeship way?
It depends. Some people suffer longer than others trying to figure things out.
Like,
Some people are naturals.
so what do you mean suffer? So you have to really suffer.
Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm like, you need to go through all the horror. No.
No, you have to pay your dues.
Right. I just mean suffer in that some people, it doesn't come as fast.
Why is that?
I just think ability. That's even with skating. Like sometimes you see people, they're like, dude, this dude's a fucking natural.
Right.
He makes it look so easy. How does he do it?
But another guy, it might take him 2 years to learn to kickflip or something.
Right.
It'll take them a long time to process the mechanics of your
Totally.
foot or like where the placement is on the board.
Absolutely.
Right?
And right, where it's like, and that's what I meant by suffer.
Yeah.
It's like you see guys who are like, fuck, I just can't get this. And you know?
I thought you meant more like their attitude is, because does attitude matter? Let's say,
I think so.
because you could do that, and what if their attitude's like, dang, like when am I gonna do the tattoo, man?
You don't want to do that. No.
So when you're doing the apprenticeship route,
Right.
have a good attitude.
Yeah. Just because, you know, with a well-running tattoo shop, it's like you have all kinds of egos and attitudes.
So there is a difference between a well-run tattoo shop versus a shitty-run tattoo shop?
Like any business, for sure.
Really? No, you could.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. No, this is fascinating to me. So, what else? What are some of the other behind-the-scenes things that take place in a tattoo shop? Like, what are some of the other remedial tasks that people have to do to work up the ladder?
Totally. I think, I mean, in the beginning, it's very boring, tedious work. Like getting lunch for everybody.
You have to do that, or
Yeah.
coffee,
Coffee or clean up.
clean up,
Doing shit like, you know, Karate Kid, you know?
like that. So that I like that.
Right.
Because I love Karate Kid.
Yeah.
It's like when Mr. Miyagi didn't let Daniel
Absolutely.
do, like, he made
He's
him
all, why the fuck am I
paint
doing
the
this?
fence,
Right.
and
So
then
this is so stupid. He's like, it's for something, man.
so it's for something. There's
Right.
meaning behind
Totally.
these things, these tasks.
Yes.
Oh, so let's go back to, because you were not number 2, you were in-house.
Right.
You did it out of your house.
Yeah, and I will say that doing that, I always approached it with wanting to get better. I don't think, believe me, it was never like a cash grab for me. I was just like, damn, I want to figure this out.
You want to get good.
I want to get good because I'm seeing this shit in the magazines, which is like mind-boggling to me. And like learning how to tattoo was like getting to the moon. Like I didn't know how to. I was like, how do you do that?
Right.
But then I'm like, I want it so bad. I just need to believe that if I just keep plugging away at this shit and like give my heart and soul to it, that sounds so
No,
poetic and dumb, but it's true.
you're
I'm
onto
like,
something.
I'm gonna make this happen.
Right.
Like hell or high water, it's gonna fucking happen.
So the progression, would you say, is similar to skateboarding too, where first you learn how to ollie,
Yeah,
and then that's like how to do a straight line or something?
totally. And the second you nail it, you're like, I'm on my way. Like,
What
let's go.
about when do you learn how to do the shading and the other intricate things?
I feel like that starts to happen. You should be learning that while you're learning to. I mean, if you're tattooing, if you've gotten to that point, you're definitely learning that at the same time as lining.
Really?
Lining's obviously the most important.
Is that the
thing.
most important thing?
Sure. And then I have a buddy right now, who's just finishing up an apprenticeship. Shouts to Tall Boy.
Yeah, so shout out to the homie Tall Boy.
Yeah.
Is he doing good?
He's doing great.
Is he doing a good job?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
actually, he sent me a picture of an orange he did today.
He did a tattoo of an orange.
No, he tattooed on an orange.
On an orange.
Yeah.
Wait, is that a way to get good?
Yeah, like tattooing fruit.
Okay,
Some-
tattooing fruit. I didn't know that. Tattooing fruit.
Right.
To learn. Now, why fruit?
I would say oranges specifically because it mimics the skin.
Oh, because it gives...
It's got some pushback.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's got some similarity to like skin, even though it's not skin. If you tattoo on an orange, you can get like a pretty accurate like read on if your lines are good, if your shading's good.
Wow. So for
if
those...
you're responsible.
Right. So for those aspiring tattoo artists, would you recommend them getting a bunch of oranges and a tattoo gun?
For the record,
Yeah. Wait, no, just correct me if I'm wrong.
if there's people that are like, oh man, I want a tattoo, what I would suggest is going and getting tattooed for someone's work that you're like, damn, they're bad. Like I want to go get work from them. Spend money with them because I feel like the way to a tattooer's heart, if you're supporting their business and them, they're like, yo, I'm gonna maybe break off a little piece of knowledge to this kid who's like spending money with me.
Jedi knowledge.
Totally. They're like, you know
know?
what? I've been seeing this kid come around. He's getting tattooed a lot. He's not asking me like, hey, how do you do this? But just hanging out, getting tattooed, supporting the business. If he asks me a question about, hey, so what do you? I go,
Right.
oh, I do this.
As far
And then
as
that's
how do you get that shading on that piece?
Right.
Right.
But then if it's someone that's just really you don't know, you're like, why? Why do you want to know?
Oh, because you could tell their heart's not into
Right.
it.
Or you're just like, or I'll just, kind of explain it very vaguely, but I feel like that's the part of the tattooer where it's like, I'm in no position to apprentice someone.
I think you are, though. I think you are.
I don't even
I
want
think
that
you're not
responsibility,
I don't think
dude.
you're giving yourself enough credit because I've seen your work. I see what you're able to do.
Yeah,
Would you want to?
not now. Because I feel like it's a lot of work. Because I feel like the goal for like an apprenticeship, I would want them at the end of it to be better than me.
Really?
Yeah, because you're like,
Oh, what they did with Anakin.
totally.
You
Because
know,
you're
like how Obi-Wan and yeah,
right.
they are like, this kid, we want him to be the best.
Totally. Because
Yeah.
if the person comes out of that being garbage, that's your name.
Oh, because your name is attached
Yeah.
to that.
Who apprenticed you? They're like, oh, so and so. They're like, oh,
Oh, and that's
Cool.
and that news will travel amongst the tattoo
absolutely.
community.
And the tattooing community, I mean, is pretty small.
I've always wondered this. How in prison?
Yeah.
How the hell do they even tattoo in prison? Because they don't have a tattoo gun. Like,
no, they build these little rotary machines that are actually like
what do you mean? What is that?
like
a knitting machine or something?
So instead of electromagnets.
Oh, you're gonna break it out? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Break.
So these are electromagnet machines, coil machines. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you want to just display it? Can I hold it and then while you talk about it? So this is. So what is this?
That is
Is this
coil,
the engine?
a coil tattoo machine. Essentially, it's a doorbell. A doorbell is the same construction where it's electromagnets that when you press your pedal, it activates your armature bar.
Okay, where's the armature bar?
Right here. Slaps up and down. Boom, boom,
armature bar. And what's this thing called again?
A tattoo machine.
This is the whole thing.
Yeah.
So how do they do this? Get this in prison?
They don't. So what they use in prison is a rotary machine. So instead of electromagnets, because that's a little more complicated to build, it is a motor.
Yes.
That you would find like in a Walkman, like a
tape
deck.
They do that in prison. They figure that out in prison.
Yeah.
Holy smokes!
But
Keep going.
it's a rotary machine, which means it's a little motor that you would find like in a Walkman or a CD player.
And they flip it.
And they put the needle on the actual pinion. This is such tattoo.
No, I love it. I love it. No, I love it.
But it's like it's a rotary machine where it's a lot quieter. You can't even hear it. Yeah.
What about the ink? How do they get the ink?
Soot and shampoo.
What the fuck is soot?
Like from like they burn paper or to like build up
ash.
Like ash. Like
how do you spell that?
S-O-O-T. How do you spell
is
soot?
Is it S-O-O-T?
S-O-O. I think soot.
Soot. Okay, it's okay.
I love that.
No, we can always edit this out.
Shit.
Okay, so they get that's ingenious. That they think of this.
Absolutely,
that's innovative and just really creative the way they think about how to.
Yeah.
So soot.
Yeah.
And then that permanently will ink your skin.
Absolutely, if you push it hard enough.
What about in certain like islander cultures, like Samoan cultures or Pacific Islander cultures?
Yeah.
Where what's the thing where they do it? It's like they just prick on your skin like.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Way, right? Where
because Japanese it's tabori.
Yeah, tabori. But they have a needle.
Yes.
And they do it.
You know what's crazy? I've seen that live where there's actually 3 guys, kind of simultaneously working together.
And they do it
where it's one guy like stretching the skin, and then another guy actually like, and then another guy that actually wipes.
That's
because the one guy.
Right.
They all need a job because it's such like a hands-on like thing, you know.
How
wild.
Tedious and how long would a tattoo, like a little flash tattoo, take doing the tabori style? Like 10 hours.
Well, they move quicker, but it's definitely slower than like a electric machine.
Yeah.
But you know, it's still cool as shit.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
Are there certain tattoo shops where they just do the tabori style? They don't have.
Yeah.
We just do hand.
Specialize in that, and you know, I'm not well versed in that, but I know that it's definitely there's a lot more spiritual meaning.
Doing it
like in
that?
like the designs they do.
Yeah, they do have the whole
and
tribal,
it's much more intimate too.
Like doing like.
I mean, it's crazy. Like machines, like when I tattoo you guys, it's gonna be like quick.
So when you let's focus on my homie right here.
Okay.
This is gonna be because we have Andrew behind the camera. He's helping us technically right now.
Yeah.
But he also agreed to get his first tattoo tonight.
Yeah, pumped.
Are you guys gonna form some kind of connection since it's because you're basically kind of like. I don't want to use
it's his first tattoo.
Dude,
and he's
I don't want to say that. See, he behind the camera, he did this. I didn't want to use that as an analogy, but I kind of have to now since he did this.
It's going to be like a scene from Ghost. And you're Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay. So tonight, are you going to look into his eyes?
Yes.
No, but you will have, because I remember who tattooed me, my first tattoo.
Totally. Where it's like, so here's the thing. It's like when we start, he's going to be like, all right, here we go. And then you feel that first line, and you're like, ugh, you're gonna break a sweat.
He's a tough guy, though. I mean, this
Totally.
guy, he learned skateboarding. He learned
Yeah,
skateboarding. He had
right.
patience to learn skateboarding.
Yes.
So you know he has patience.
But then, been doing it long enough. When I tattoo you, I could talk to you, and it just like, it's cool.
Does that help a person first getting their tattoo to the communication?
Absolutely.
Rather than silence?
Right. Or someone that maybe is newer at tattooing that needs to focus on a little bit more what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's not second nature yet.
Yeah.
They're like, please don't talk to me while I'm doing this.
Right. What helped me?
And I'm like, hey, how are the kids?
Yeah,
Ooh.
exactly.
People are like, oh, this is great.
So he's lucky because I did research on you. Because the guy that did my first tattoo was a low apprentice.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna out him, but look, dude, see this line?
It just fell out. He didn't go deep enough.
He didn't know. I didn't know this, but I was maybe his second guinea pig.
Okay.
My homie went to the good guy that did it.
Oh, I see.
The owner of. And this other guy was sitting in like the barbershop chair, like reading a comic, or he was literally, you could tell he was sitting there for like 8 hours, just bored. And when I felt like, oh, well, I don't want to sit here. Maybe I should get a tattoo. And once I said that, like, because there was only 2 dudes there, he was like, I could do it, and I should have done a little bit more research.
Sure.
I didn't know this guy didn't know what he was doing, bro.
But
Go
can
ahead.
I ask, you were excited just to get tattooed.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And I feel like sometimes, like, because people get so excited, they're like, I'm getting a tattoo today. They kind of like don't look farther than that. I've done it before.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I have a tattoo from a convention that is shot. It is not good.
It's worse than this line?
It's like raised. You could read my first tattoo, like Braille.
Really?
Yeah, but it's like he went too deep and he scarred me up. But
Well, what does that mean, going too deep?
Going too deep. Like that. Like your line. Look at this. Your line is overconfident. Jeremiah's line is underconfident. Tattooing happens somewhere in the middle of that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, dude.
And really, I love this tattoo.
Oh my God, I went in too deep.
It's all good.
No, I went in too deep, brother.
It's good. It's good.
So I like that you said that. So too deep or too light.
Yeah, tattooing happens in the middle of that.
So good tattooing is in the middle.
Yes.
Finding that
balance.
Finding that magical
middle
place.
ground. Yep.
Middle ground.
And when you
area.
Yes. And when you know where to live in that, that's when you can excel.
So it's kind of like learning the sweet spot on the skin where you're not pressing in too much pressure, giving too much pressure.
And then
I'm sorry. Can I take a look at what I did? Oh my God. So I did it like right here. Yeah, are people? That's a good question. Off camera, Andrew said, "Are people's skin texture different?"
Yeah, and that's everybody. So like, the first time I tattooed an elderly person.
You did?
Oh yeah, I tattooed a lot of elderly people.
And then theirs is loose.
Their skin's like paper. Loose. So as you feel it.
That's a good question, man.
Because they show me their arm or wherever they want to get tattooed. I'm like, where are you thinking about putting this? And they go, well, right here. And then I grab their arm and I go, oof. So,
and
so I would tattoo them differently than I would like someone who's like 19 or 20. It's like, I'm here for my first tattoo because they're young. Their skin's got like some like gumption still, So then it's like, if you go too hard on someone that's got thin skin, you can definitely cut them right open.
They could bleed?
Yeah, and I've seen that happen.
Oh, no.
And it's a nightmare, dude, just because...
Well, because now it's a liability.
Yes, and some of the shops that I was at early on in my career where there really wasn't... like some of the not good shops that I just was at in the beginning where it's like you kind of see some of these sins happening and you're just like, ooh. You're like, okay. already like formulating your exit plan from this place that you're like, I don't need to be here that long. Like, I just need to figure out, build up a clientele here, but then I need to graduate.
When you say build up a clientele, do you get their contacts and just say, hey, I'm bouncing over here now, and then
Right.
and you have their email?
Totally. And that's just based on, I mean, again, very unconventional the way I did my whole tattoo journey, but it's like
you had your own journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I love. It's made me who I am today.
Exactly.
But it's like you can forego a lot of that if you just do it the correct way.
The correct way.
I just feel like with what I had available to me and around me, because I mean, you've been to the Central Valley.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Hanford. That's right near Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening in Fresno,
Not much.
dude?
Meth?
And the kids that weren't doing meth were just skating or doing like graffiti or like.
Or there's a skate scene in Fresno?
Well, specifically Hanford, yeah.
Really? There's skate parks?
Yeah, a core shop in Hanford. Shout out to First Love Skate.
Shout out to First Love, it's a mom and pop skate shop.
Yeah.
Shout out to First Love Skate.
Yeah.
In Fresno.
In Hanford.
In Hanford.
Yeah. But like same thing where it's like, there just wasn't a lot.
Right.
A lot of culture, things like that, where it's like, that's when I started turning to the magazines and being like, oh, wow. Which actually brings me to the next thing where it's like, when I was doing it 2005, 2006, I actually didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was like still doing the house tattoo shit.
But you were getting good at it.
I was getting better. But
when did you realize you started improving? That's my question.
Maybe after like...
The 100th?
Or just like the second year still trying to do it.
At home?
At home.
You noticed an improvement?
Yeah, but I was never able to excel because I just didn't have the information, you know?
What do you mean by that? Like just like the apprenticeship?
Someone actually showing me how to do it.
Right.
But because friends kind of like trusted my artistic ability, that doesn't necessarily transfer to like
tattoos.
Because
it's different than drawing on a piece of paper.
Being a tattooer, you're half machine operator and half artist.
Oh, damn. So
there's some people that are badass artists, and then they hold the tattoo machine.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, whoa, you know?
Yeah.
But then there's some guys who maybe aren't like crazy artists,
but they're good at
but they could do a very clean, nice
line
tattoo, right? Line or
wow.
So it's like guys who are like cool and nice and positive and are like on the up and up. They can make whole careers out of just being good dudes.
Can you make a whole career like outside of the tattoo shop circuit, where like how you learned, right? Where you're doing it out of your garage, right? And then the homies, the news spread throughout the neighborhood, like, hey, Dresden does good tattoos. Like, I'm guessing like in prison or something, hey, this guy does good tattoos.
Right. So then I think too with that, I feel like that should never be your long game.
Well, that's not a good long game.
I don't think so. Where it's like, if you want to really excel, if you're at the beginning of your career, you know, you want to learn in an environment where, because number one, you don't want people coming to your house
all the time.
Yeah, because like the in and out, like
people.
Your house is sacred.
You might think they might think you're dealing drugs or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's right.
I'm sorry.
And depending on where you're at in your head, you're like, no, man, I'm trying to be taken seriously as a tattooer.
Right.
So I'll tattoo like my punk rock friends and do all this shit
because they're down for it.
They're just like, do whatever.
Right.
Fuck, are you serious?
That's cool that they allowed you to.
But it's cool because then I look back on that, and again, when I see them and they're like, dude, do you remember this? I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Why did you let me do that? No, it's cool, man. It's one of your first ones.
Right. That's cool. Those are your good
friends.
But
then I'm just like stoked on them because I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
That you let me do that.
That you let me do that. How wild.
What's the opposite? What's your ideal career in tattooing? Like, what's one's ideal, like, getting in this shop, then going to conventions? Like, what would be your ideal trajectory to be a successful tattoo artist, where you get respect from the community, all that shit? Yeah.
So I don't think there's that many parts to it. Just what I say, keep your day job, because you're going to need a day job where it's like being an apprentice or a shop help in a tattoo shop isn't going to pay your bills.
It's not.
It's just not. And if you're going to be an apprentice, they're probably going to ask for some money up front.
They are?
Yeah, because...
Why? Why is that?
Because...
You have to pay to learn?
Yeah.
It's like going to like culinary school or something?
Or college.
So how much is that fee?
Is
it a monthly fee? Is it
varies.
a one-off?
No, it's a lump sum.
It's a lump sum.
It's a lump sum.
Can you just throw out a number just for context?
I don't know if I should.
Oh, what if we do this? Can I guess?
Sure.
3 guesses and then just wink with your left.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the lump sum.
Okay.
For an apprentice to pay the sensei. Hey, you want to learn? This is what you pay Mr. Miyagi.
Right.
You want to come into Miyagi-Do? This is the fee.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna give you 3 numbers.
Okay.
$1,000. Okay, that wasn't it. $2,500. What? You didn't even look at me. God, dude, so that's low. 10,000. Oh, okay, I gotcha. So it's not like peanuts.
Right.
This is like, dude, you want to be led into this dojo? Like this, you're going to have to pay.
I'm just saying that's not the number.
I know, but that was more closer.
I'm just saying it's just like, hey, like whatever it is, if
pay to play.
Right. And if the person that you're asking is in the position to like, and again, I'm just saying this from what I've witnessed over my life.
Yes.
Or because I've seen instances. Yeah.
Andrew, go ahead. Just chime in, Andrew.
Okay.
No, sorry.
If it's someone who's really good,
Right.
Where's more? Where it's like if it's someone down the street.
Exactly.
Like, I was just saying, if it's someone who's really good, you're obviously going to probably have to pay, and I'd pay that. And then if it's like down the street, it might be less. I don't know.
Exactly.
I had another question too.
Yeah. Go.
The other one was when you're talking about these apprentices. I know in skateboarding for myself, like if I'm setting up my board, I'm never having the kid in the shop set up my board. Like I'm setting it up. Do you, when it comes to like your tools, do you clean them yourself? Do you fill the? I don't know how it works with the ink and everything, but is that
questions?
Okay, did you hear his questions?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll answer the first one. Those are really good questions, dude.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, so the first one, yes. The cool thing about tattooing, if everything's on the up and up, like the person's portfolio is a very clear indicator on any respective person because, good art is subjective with whoever's trying to get into whatever style they're trying to do, they see that and they go, wow, this person's really good. And especially if they're the hardworking neighborhood tattooer that they should be, they have a good rep too. So it's like, yes, clearly learning from someone who is far more proficient than someone just down the street, the price is going to be different because the knowledge is more valuable.
At the shop.
Right. But again, it's like, what was the second question?
Go ahead, Andrew.
About the gun and having your
Oh,
yeah, the gun, the ink,
right.
and all that.
So then that's another thing where it's like, at first, you wouldn't, like, because I've had apprentices in my space before, not from me, but like someone else having an apprentice, where if they're new, same thing. I'm like, please do not touch my shit. You don't know what you're doing. I don't really feel, but like a badass apprentice, one that's been through it, and they're like, you want to get to that point where you're like, I trust that the way they're going to set me up is going to be perfect.
So going back to his skateboarding analogy, the skate shop.
Yeah.
So you'd want a kid that's worked at 5 skate shops.
Totally.
You'd be like, oh, he knows what he's doing. I know. I've seen him set up boards successfully.
You already have a rapport with them.
He knows how to do the grip tape. No bubble, no air bubbles, right? Like, all that.
And you've also kind of quietly watched him. You're like,
oh, you're peeping his
all right,
progress.
Like he's good.
Right.
He knows what he's doing. Even though you still may, in the end, you're like, also, but don't touch my fucking board.
Yeah.
And in the end, even the fact that you're like, if I ever needed that, I would definitely trust this person who's clearly taking it seriously and is like just not shitheaded in any way. It's like, oh, and you're just like, dude, just do it or don't, and just, you know.
Okay, so we're getting to the last, I think, 10 minutes, right, Andrew? I'm gonna put Andrew back. Oh, wait, hold up. Before I do that,
for an hour?
about 40. Oh no, we got 20 minutes. No, we got
Okay.
20 minutes. I want to get to the
was
point.
hoping.
No, this is great. We've been.
That
It's been
flew
super.
by,
I know,
dude.
no. We got time, but I'm just kind of keeping my mind on the time because
Totally.
of what him and me.
Right.
I want to ask you because I want you to like promote like anywhere like tattoo shops where cats could actually contact you to get some work done.
Absolutely.
And if you could slowly maybe kind of like touch upon like a specific shop where they could get a hold of you or like to
Absolutely.
shout out some people in your field.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? And all that.
So first and foremost, I gotta give a shout to my homie Luis. He's the one that owns 210 Tattoo in San Luis Obispo. 210.
Like the number.
The number 210, like 210.
210
Yeah.
tattoo shop.
210 Tattoo. It's in the heart of San Luis Obispo. That is currently my home shop. Very happy there. And Luis is the homie, and he does the baddest Japanese work.
So Louis
good.
at 210 Tattoo Shop in San Luis Obispo.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I'm there.
Yeah.
And I'm there tattooing. I think since the pandemic, I wasn't traveling as much, but like I do travel, but not to people's homes, just the homies.
And we got you too. We got some cash on us.
But
For
yeah,
you.
I'm not worried about it.
No, we got you.
But yeah,
We
like
got you.
we totally invite anyone to come to the shop. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful shop. And other than that, maybe just keep when I do travel, I tattoo. They're called guest spots.
And that's when you travel.
When you travel, and because we make friends with other tattooers all over the world, we're like, yo, I'm gonna be in town. They're like, cool, you work here, you know.
Can you? Because I've noticed too, like, because we mentioned off-camera like tattoo conventions.
Yeah.
Like, what's that all about?
So that's where a bunch of tattooers get under one roof. As a matter of fact, my favorite tattoo convention is coming up in Santa Rosa, California.
What's it called?
Tattoos and Blues.
Tattoos in Blues.
Tattoos and Blues.
BLUES.
Correct.
And that's why do you like that one?
It's ran by a homie. His name is Dot
So shout out to Dot.
Cross.
Yeah.
And he actually. It's just a rad convention. There's so many good tattooers under one roof.
Right, but my question is, what's the purpose of a convention?
I think it's to bring people from all over under one roof, so it makes it a little easier for people to come to a spot, or they can kind of like walk down aisles, see a bunch of really good artists that are like centralized in one area. And if they don't want to get tattooed, tattooers also make rad like merchandise.
Oh, so they have merch? Oh, they have
T-shirts,
stickers and stuff.
Like you just go, you're like, oh shit, there's all kinds of cool shit here. Prints, like all kinds of stuff like that.
And what about this networking?
Yeah, totally.
You go there, you meet other
Network,
artists.
also see old friends. Like if you've been in the game
Oh,
for a little while, like
yeah.
you're like, hey, what's up? Because you
Yeah.
don't see people that often, you know? It's just like, it's cool because the energy is high
Yeah,
and everyone's just like stoked.
just to be there.
And that's one thing I missed, like during the shutdown.
Oh, because that
I'm
interaction.
like, yo, man, because I'm like a hugger.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up, dude? Like, wow, it's so good to see you. And I miss that. So I'm very excited. It's coming up in August.
Awesome. Did you want to? How do people get to? Oh, do you have to be invited to that to go to that?
Yeah.
How do you get invited to a convention?
You either just get invited or you ask to like to give you an application.
You have to do application.
But that doesn't always mean you'll get chosen just because you get your work reviewed.
Oh, who reviews the work?
Usually the people that run the convention.
So they're like senseis.
Totally.
So
where
the-
if they know you and you're good, cool. But if you're like applying for the first time, they're gonna
be
definitely
like, who are you?
yeah.
So then,
normal scrutinizing.
so there's politics in that, like
Totally.
as far as like the people that are invited, the people that choose who comes.
Sure.
Oh, dude.
But just because they're trying to retain a level of quality, because they're like, that's how conventions get good
Reviewed.
Yeah, they're like, man, that's every time they have that show, they always have like crushers there. They're just
Right.
like do the sickest shit, and they're just like pumped.
Now, like, you don't have to give me the dollar amount, but
Yeah.
like as far as like making tattooing a career,
Right.
like how many years do you really have to put in to get to the point where you have a shop and all that stuff and you're respected in the community and all that?
I don't think I could speak on that specifically, but what I will say is that I feel like, me personally, it took me 10 years.
10 years.
Before I was like, all right, I'm in the groove.
Right.
Where I'm like, I'm doing the work that I was like envisioning back when I was young.
Oh, damn.
But I mean, there's just a lot to it, you know? And I feel like just being able to, as far as owning a shop and all that, I'm not sure. I think that's
man.
different for everybody.
Yeah.
I think whatever you feel, wherever you're at,
Yeah.
because everyone's minds are different too. Like, what they can compartmentalize and do and like run a business, you know?
Because it is
Sometimes
a business.
people don't want that responsibility, you know?
Right,
They're like,
right.
I just want to work and go home.
Exactly.
But it depends.
So similar to like we'll bring it back to skateboarding. Like in the skateboarding world, there's like pros that get paid more, or it's more lucrative for them.
Right.
You know, is the same way in tattooing where there's certain like figureheads like one tattoo from them's like $8,000, like something crazy.
Totally. Where I think the bigger tattoos, where it's like when you see people with these one sleeves, where it's like, oh, how much was your whole
thing.
sleeve? And then they go, I don't know. They're like, I don't really remember. Where it's like, because that takes sessions.
That's sessions.
Right. So if someone's a certain dollar amount per hour, you kind of forget how much it costs because you just live with being stoked on having like a beautiful piece of art.
Right.
You don't really remember like, you just remember, oh yeah, it was probably pretty expensive, but I lost count after like the third session. But look
Right.
at this, it's bad as fuck, right?
Right,
Everyone's
right,
like,
right.
wow, you know?
How, and then like you don't have to answer the like as far as dollar amount, but could you make can you have a whole career, like buy a home and have a whole life because of tattooing? Like,
Yeah, I think it's a little different because when you work for yourself, you know, people look at me and it's like getting things like signed or like getting a house or something. People go, like, it's almost like they don't believe
No, it's
being
possible.
a professional tattooer. They're like, so how long have you been selling drugs?
right.
And I'm
right. oh,
I'm like, dude,
so there's a stigma attached to tattooing.
I mean, with some people,
It's changed over the years. It's more accepted, I would
it's
say.
changed, but I feel like sometimes people just can't wrap their head around that. Like, there are people breaking their backs, like doing this career, where it's like, I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's grueling work, because I have fun when I go to work.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah.
it's like, it's work.
Mhm.
It's a lot of work, you know, and it's just something that if you're not always painting, if you're not always doing something, like keeping your swords
Sharpened.
like so to speak.
Is that how to sharpen your sword? Like when you're
Yeah.
not tattooing, you're always drawing and stuff like that?
Totally. What was the quote where it's like, you don't get too old to skate, but you, or what was the saying? He's like, I don't fucking know.
I mean, this guy, he's still killing it.
Right. Or you
Yeah.
get old because you don't, or something like that.
Right.
Or it's like, fuck, it's just like you always got to be moving and doing something. And if you're not,
to help to keep
maybe it's not for you.
to keep you on point as far
Yeah.
as your
You're
craft and
conditioned and like,
right.
because if there's been times where I've taken breaks from tattooing, like not long breaks, but I'm like a couple days off, and I'm just like,
Oh, your skills will diminish.
no, but I'm like, man, I miss.
But it's like that with skateboarding. If you don't skate for a while, you you have to relearn a lot. Yeah,
Or you're like, all right, let's get back into this.
you have to relearn your shit. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
But then
yeah.
it all comes back quick.
Right.
But that first couple pushes, you're like, God damn, dude, what is happening?
Yeah. So is it like muscle memory too, like how skateboard?
Absolutely.
So that's the correlation.
Yes.
So there's muscle memory in skating and muscle memory in tattooing.
Absolutely.
That's a real thing.
Oh, dude, totally.
It
Where
is.
it's like that's also why tattooers paint, because
Oh.
watercoloring and doing that, it mimics tattooing.
Why watercoloring specifically?
The way that it moves,
Oh.
like the way you shade,
Mhm.
it mimics shading and tattooing.
That's insane.
Like lining something on
That's
a piece of
insane.
nice paper. It's just things that just stay
And then
stay
it
sharp.
and it drips too, like how ink may
Totally.
drip on,
Like you're
on,
manipulating it, much like shading, you know? It's
That's
just
insane.
so usually people that really take a really good step forward with
Yeah.
learning how to paint really well,
Yeah,
it makes them better.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Now, can we do this now? Because we went for we kept going.
I know.
I like
sorry.
that. No, I like it. I enjoyed it. I want how does one specifically get a hold of you, Dresden, if they want some work done by you?
Yeah.
Outside of the 210. I mean, shout out to Luis again from 210 Tattoo
Shouts,
Shop
Luis.
and San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
But what if someone's like, I want to get work done by Dresden?
Yeah, so you can call the shop, which I'm sure you could easily find on Google,
Mm-hmm.
210 Tattoo, San Luis Obispo. Otherwise, you can get a hold of me on my website has a link to, or not my website, my Instagram has a link to my website. You just click that.
What's your Instagram?
Instagram is Dresden Made.
Dresden Made. Let me do it again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dresden Made. Spell
you,
that
I
out.
did.
No, spell that out for him.
DresdenMade.
Like the Dresden, like the bar, Dresden, right?
Yeah,
It's similar.
yeah, downtown.
Yeah. One more time. Dresden,
Dresden
Made.
Made.
I want to throw this before we end it.
Yeah.
Do you think we covered? How do you feel
Dude,
about it?
there's so much more.
There's
I
so
wanna
much
talk
more,
about,
but we got
this is good.
We got some meat and potatoes in there,
Yeah.
right? And this is going to my boy behind the camera. I'm not gonna tell anyone what you're getting. That's your business. But I thought of something. Would you be able to? This is if he wants to agree.
Okay.
Would you be able to? Because he already wants a certain thing.
Yeah.
But can you do something like this, like a skateboard?
Yeah. On
Like maybe, I mean, I'm just thinking of you, brother. I mean, I'm thinking about, because to give your thing context, I'm not going to say what it is, but I thought it'd be cool if he has something like this. It's just a skateboard. I mean, that'll take you 5 minutes, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is
something as simple as that. Yeah.
yeah, like a skateboard,
Like under what he's getting.
something like that, where
Easy.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
something where it's like, it's kind of like a story for him, you know?
Absolutely.
Like where he's gonna get his thing, but if you put this underneath it or near it,
Personalizes it. Because you have the classic what you're getting,
right?
but the skateboard is the cherry on
Yeah,
top.
that gives it more context. Like, no, this is this attached to this.
And I'm stoked on what you're getting. That
Yeah,
is
I am too.
tight.
Yeah, it's tight, right?
That's good. That's good.
So I'm thinking, I mean, that could you, because you have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have time to screen or to.
But you know what's cool? Something that easy. I just draw it on with the Sharpies.
You could do this no problem.
Yeah, like freehand essentially, and it'll look just like that.
Andrew, think about it. No. I don't want to put him on the spot.
Timestamp.
No, because I'm thinking, because, you know, this is his first thing. I want it to be like monumental. I want it to be something like he'll like remember, like that signifies,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
why
yeah.
he would
Why
get
he's
something
doing
like
it.
that.
Absolutely. There's a lot of meaning. That type of meaning I like.
Yeah. You do?
I haven't never got a tattoo because I was like, I'm never against them. It was just, I wanted it to be something that I gave a shit about. Because I'm very like, the next day I'm like, oh, I don't like this anymore. And I throw it
Totally.
away.
Yeah.
And I understand that sentiment.
No,
where
no,
it's
no.
like people get tattooed for all different kinds of reasons.
Right. And
You
I
want a big
understand
crazy
that.
piece of art? Cool.
And I understand that.
But also, tattoos are an intimate thing. So it's like,
But with him too, I'm gonna add to his story.
right.
It's not the thing that there's a thing behind the original.
Yeah.
But dude, the skateboarding signifies this guy's life.
Absolutely.
Like what this guy's about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He loves skateboarding.
Yeah.
I just thought of it. You don't have to do it.
I like
You do. You do. So I'm just gonna throw that on there. So what we're gonna do
I'm
now?
with it.
You are.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
no problem. Like
No
we could. I
problem.
mean that. I'll show Andrew after this what we're looking at. There's a sticker. But what we're gonna do now, and I'm gonna try to add some of this content after the interview. Maybe like sprinkle it in.
Okay.
This thing, or maybe after.
Yeah.
Worse, because I'm gonna let the viewers and listeners know when this interview ends. My buddy is getting his first tattoo. I'm getting a tattoo,
Yeah.
and I kind of maybe I wanted to get some footage of it, just like maybe a minute where I could show the viewers like you doing your thing
Totally.
here, right? Because you brought your whole kit here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
I'm fine with it.
You're good with it, and then maybe we could kind of, and then I'll think about how I could add that to the episode, like.
Totally.
Like I'll figure that out, but let's first I want you to shout out the thing, like your Instagram again, a website, like what you want to do, and then I'll do my announcements, and then we'll wrap it up here.
You want to check out my Instagram? It's Dresden Made, and then on my Instagram there's a link to my website. You just click on that, fill out a quick form, and that gets you to me fast, to where I can process that, and then we can figure out how to book you an appointment.
DMs?
DMs? I don't really like DMs because I can't keep track of them, but just there's a link on my Instagram.
Oh, your link tree is on there?
Yeah.
Oh, so
and you click that, and it sends you to my website, and it'll get you figured out like in a hurry.
So go to Dresden Made's Instagram.
Yeah, and there's a
link in bio.
Yes.
Link in bio,
Link in
Dresden
bio,
Made.
folks.
And then if you happen to be in the San Luis Obispo area again, make sure to go to 210 Tattoo Shop in San Luis Obispo, and schedule an appointment there.
Yeah.
How big's your staff there?
It's just me and Luis.
So you already know it's amongst the homies.
Yeah.
You're either going to get Luis or you.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, dude. Do you feel good about it?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty tight.
Dude,
I mean, like,
and we'll meet you with a smile, and it's all good.
And I thought it was informative to the point where, like, you know,
be
we
honest,
could have gone 5 hours.
Oh, dude, we could
but
have.
I wanted to get him a little, little.
This is a good intro. I like
intro version of it.
I love it.
Yeah. Thanks again for tuning into this episode. Our first tattoo artist on the platform, Steebee Weebee Show. Go to Steebee Weebee show.com, SteebeeWeebieShow.com. That's a website. Patreon.com/SteebieWeebie to help support the platform. Instagram/QUANGOU. SteebieWeebieBandcamp.com. I also have the newest album on Spotify. So if you go on Spotify, type in QUANGOU. My newest project's on there. Send any stuff, mail, packages to 1425 North Cherokee Avenue, P.O. Box 1391, LA, California 90093. Andrew, can I shout out your Instagram again just to throw it in there, please? Andrew N89 on Instagram.
Get on it.
And so I'm looking forward to this.
Me too.
I want this to be a pleasurable experience for Andrew, so he'll remember it. He'll feel good about it, and I feel good about it that you're doing his first tattoo.
Absolutely, I'm pumped. It's gonna be good.
All right, thanks for tuning in. So Dresden, can you explain to the camera what you're doing right now?
I'm freehanding a skateboard.
Yeah.
Right under the Olympic logo.
So that's freehand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where this was a good afterthought though, because even when you were saying it, I was like, yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
No, I really like it.
You do?
Makes it more personalized to what's actually color.
No, black's good. Just
Okay,
all
cool.
black's good.
So are you happy with the skateboard?
I'm very happy with that idea. Thank you.
And then you just did that freehand? Yeah, baby.
Looks like it's printed off a computer.
There we go.
So
Beep,
good.
beep. We'll let that drop for a second. First line, okay? Cool. Bringing back memories, dude.
Memories of what?
of just me doing this in houses.
Oh shit! Back home.
I know, this is
Back
wild.
in the garage.
Exactly.
Andrew, how do you feel?
Good.
Okay.
My buddy Skip is a trip, feeling blue like a crib. Framed for robbing a bank, letting loose from the hip. He really couldn't predict this script was so full of angst. Him and Henry were woodpeckers, did a song and dance at big. Oh, rodeo man in the west, you can. You're the best on the land. To bless the sand, stir the bull with your hand. Oh, Skip, you can. Get that fucking bull, pull on that rope. Feeling still crazy, maintaining against the grain. Making me wanna get in a plane. The pain inside my brain never ends, sustain. I'm down for the count on the ground freight train. Living today, don't give it away. They're preaching the praise, the raise. Shining it down to mightiest crowns, the finest of frowns delayed. Skippy's afraid, he feels betrayed. Live this way, can deal with shade. His fate is a spade, he made the grade displayed in a charade of pain. I am not a man, I am an animal of male. I live by maritime, the law of water, about to sail. Where my mother had me, I slipped out of her canal. What you call a sailing ship is named after a